Ben Slater, Remax Preferred Realty, your full-time, all-the-time, lifetime realtor. We are in a buyer's market. Buyer's market, baby. And I know what you're thinking. All the news is pretty much telling us contrary. For the last 3 or 4 years, we've been in a tremendous seller's market and big housing crisis in the form of not affordable, and prices keep going up and up. Multiple offers, hard to buy property, and a lot of agents and economists and people that are rah-rahing the market have kind of indicated that it's always going to be the case. It's never going to end. But in my experience in both the real estate and financial markets over the last lifetime, what goes up comes down. And we're finally starting to see some cracks in the armor. And I definitely am declaring it a buyer's market, and I will tell you why. First and foremost, anybody new to real estate or the channel, obviously a buyer's market is a market in which the buyers have an advantage over the sellers. So more supply than demand. Buyers have negotiating power, as opposed to a seller's market, which we've been in, where there's much more demand and less supply, and sellers really have the upper hand. So, for instance, for the last 2 or 3 years, especially, almost every listing I had multiple offers. I mean, I would price it, where it should be priced, and there was such demand that we would have 3, 4, 5. One of them had 22 offers, and things were trading above asking price. The winning offer was almost always cash, all contingencies waived, buyers skipping home inspections. I mean, absolutely nuts. And in the last 2 or 3 months, things have finally changed. You can see in the economy, inflation is high. The consumer, in my opinion, is in much worse shape than most people are letting on. You can see it with the price of groceries. You can see car payments, delinquencies are way on the rise, which usually follows home delinquencies. Obviously, people will lose their car before they lose their house. But it trickles down eventually, and you're going to start seeing more short sales and foreclosures. And what really tipped me off, I'm not going to go into too many stats. I mean, to be honest, I haven't even pulled up a lot. I've read a lot of other sites and other statistics and other videos and podcasts that kind of have some macroeconomic stuff, especially the state of Florida is getting crushed. But really, for me, being in the trenches every day, what tipped me off was first the rental market. I was doing some research for a buyer of mine that was in the process of purchasing a multi-unit property. And obviously, when you buy an investment property, you want to be able to determine what the rents are going to be for your units. So you have to do an accurate, honest portrayal of, hey, what can we really rent these out for? So I started doing some research. And this was in the city of Philadelphia. Now, mind you, the suburbs are still going to lag behind the city. The suburbs in this environment have been more desirable than the city for a long time, especially with remote work. So that's why the prices in the surrounding area of Philadelphia really got jacked. But Philly, especially the city, you can buy almost anything you want. You can rent anything you want. I'm going to show you on my computer behind me. Okay, so I have pulled up rental properties, available rentals in the city of Philadelphia, 2 bedrooms. Just 2 bedrooms. We have 1,409 listings, which is a lot in itself. The asking price on these rentals range from $20,000 a month for this penthouse, and the lowest is $875 for a 2 bedroom. Now, obviously, depending on the locations of the city, it's going to determine things too. But just for example, we'll pull up this first one, this $20,000 penthouse. Obviously, it's gorgeous, blah, 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 2,000 square feet. Been on the market for 600 days. So 2 years they've been trying to rent this out. When you have a rental listing, it should be rented out in the first month or two, obviously. Now I'm going to scroll up a little bit to some more reasonable average price rentals. Okay, now I'm in like the $2,200 range. And I haven't done any research ahead of time. This is not like scripted out. I'm just literally randomly clicking on stuff. All right, here's one on Poplar Street. And Poplar Street is East Parkside, kind of near the zoo. Decent area, not super high. They're asking $22.50 for this unit. Again, been on the market 175 days. Original list price was $2,400. Check out the photos. Oh, great! Yeah, parking. Inside's nice. That's the other thing too. Like these apartments, you know, they're redone. They're newer construction. It's not like they're, you know, dated and whatnot. There's just a ton of these things. So we'll go to another one. Keep scrolling. Let's get under 2,000 a month. All right, here we go. We're at the 1,800 range. 7,200 Ridge Avenue. I know this area. It's Roxborough, which is, again, a nice area. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This one's just listed 5 days ago. Beautiful. Let's see what we got next. I don't know that street. All right, North 2nd. Here we go. That's Kensington. Let's get out of there. Here's Northern Liberties. Northern Liberties is a very hot area of Philly. Totally redone. 808 North 3rd Street, number 16, 1,800. That one just hit on the 17th. Been on the market 13 days. Original price $1,800. And that's where they're at. Another one. Another one. Conroe Street. This is again Roxborough. Asking $1,800. This has been on the market for 20 days. And again, nice places. All right, let's jump down to $1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom. Not crazy. 37 North Preston Street. This is near Drexel, West Powelton, Drexel University. Nice area. Again, very clean, very nice. Let's see, this one been on the market for 40 days already. $1,550 they started at. They dropped it down to $1,500. So you guys get the idea. I mean, I can go down. You can get a nice apartment for $1,200 a month, 2 bedrooms, in, you know, not the most sought after areas, but decent areas of the city. So my point is, and what dawned on me is like, wow, this is really a lot of rentals, and the rental market is getting crushed. I mean, the prices just keep coming down. Rentals are sitting on the market. I actually had a rental listing in Lower Merion. This is embarrassing, but I actually, the landlord ended up deciding to take it off the market. So it was literally the only rental I have not been able to get rented, I think, in my career. Granted, it was a little bit on a busy road, and it could have been a little more done up. But in any case, Lower Merion is one of the most sought after areas in the on the main line in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Tremendous school district, usually very sought after. And we did have some showings, but ultimately we couldn't get a renter at her price, which was about $2,200 for a 2-bedroom. Probably should have been closer to $1,800. And you're starting to see this on the sell side as well for listings. I'm going to pull up the computer again for this is suburban Philadelphia. I'm pulling up Havertown, which I actually live in Havertown, so it's an area that I know really, really well and have been following. And again, in the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, Havertown's been hot too. Any listing you put up there was sold within a week. I had buyers of mine, the last buyers of mine in Havertown, terrific clients, cash buyers. 7 houses we tried to buy. We got the 7th one. The first 6 we got outbid. That's how competitive it was. And there was an average of 20 to 25 houses on the market. back about 3 or 4 months ago. So now we're going to look. I just pulled it up. These are all houses listed in Havertown, PA, Haverford School District. There's 31 on the market now, which is more than there was a while back. And let's just take a look and see what we got. All right, so I have them, everything available. High price is $995, so just under $1 million, and low price is $300, which is about right. It used to be, before COVID, you could get a nice twin in Havertown for about $250, and then they really jacked up. And at the height, twins were selling for $450, $490 even, I think, was the high, and singles were in the 7s and 6s. So let's just pull up. Here's a twin on Turnbull near the high school. This is honestly very similar to the house that I live in. Modest twin home, 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. I mean, it actually looks a little dated, frankly. $469 they're asking, and it has been on the market 19 days. It's an estate sale. All right, so that one, maybe not the best example. Let's see another one, but it's still on the market. Like I said, a month ago it would have been sold. Here's another one on Wales for $470. This just hit the market 10 days ago, but again, still on the market. Here we go, Windemore, $475. So this is a single family home. Looks like a Cape type of style. A little split level. Nice. Again, 3 or 4 months that these things were flying off the shelves. This, they just had a price reduction, which you were never seeing price reductions. Now, the last time I checked, it was a few days ago, there was 34 houses listed, and 13 of them had price reductions. So this one, they came down from $499 to $475. It's been on the market for 29 days. So that tells you they listed it high and nobody wanted to see it, because the buyers are just, they're done. They can't afford it. I mean, these payments at interest rates where they're at, and with insurance costs and everything else in the economy, like, they're just telling the sellers, like, look, this is what we can afford. Here's one on Woodbine. This is new. Another new one. Another new one. You can see a lot coming on the market. Another new one. Well, here we go. Here's another price drop. So here's a single family on Tyson Road, right near Linwood section. Nice house. $539. They were at $550. Again, they dropped it right away. So I'm seeing a lot of that. What I'm seeing is a lot of sellers and listing agents, frankly, that are, and I don't blame them, because I mean, it's happened to me too almost a couple times. Like, it's changing fast. So you're still in the mindset of like, oh, the market's here and this house is amazing, so yeah, we should list it at $550. And then you hit the button and your listing's out there, and 6 months ago you would have had your emails blowing up with showing requests, and now you have nothing. And then you're looking in your spam being like, oh, there must be a problem, but no, there's not. Like, the price is too high, so you have to adjust it. And I wrote a little blog on this too, so I'm just going to refer to my notes, I guess. But so what does this mean? How do we know we're in a buyer's market? Days on market are getting longer. Price reductions occurring, which we hadn't seen before. A lot more homes are coming back on the market, and what that means is they were under contract. For whatever reason, the deal fell apart. Now they have to remarket them. Why do deals fall apart? Either inspections, which 6 months ago, a year ago, nobody was even doing inspections, because if you put an inspection on there, the seller wasn't taking it. They were taking an offer where they were waiving inspections. So now you're having inspections coming back. Seeing a lot of appraisals that are coming low too, because despite what the economists say or the news says, I believe we're in a descending market as far as prices. So appraisers are appraising these things, and they're coming in light. And when it comes in lower than the sales price, sellers have to either renegotiate and come down to meet the buyer, or the buyer has to pay up, or the deal falls apart. So you're seeing a lot more deals fall apart. And the number of homes for sale is rising from month over month. So for buyers, this is great news. This is actually an opportunity where you can have your home inspection again. You can look at multiple houses and don't have to necessarily bid the ask right away. I even have some savvy investors where we'll bid for multiple houses. We'll come in low and see who's going to come down the most. Now, granted, if you get unlucky and both sellers come down and hit your offer, then you have to, sort of back out on one. Not really back out, just not follow through with one with the deposit check, which is not the greatest thing, from a etiquette standpoint, I guess. But given the ringer that buyers have been put through in the last 3 years of trying to buy a house and getting outbid 7 times in a row, I don't blame them, and I'm happy to do that. So it's really a good time to kind of revisit, if you are a buyer, hey, there is affordable stuff out there. For my sellers, what does this mean? It means you have to be smart and stay ahead of the competition. It's not like the old days where you can just say, oh, here's my house, let the bids come in and we're going to ring them up for the highest price and get them to waive everything. You have to actually make sure your listing is superior to the other ones, and it has to be priced better, and you might want to be more aggressive. You might want to price it a little lower, because days on market is always an enemy for sellers, and especially in a downtrending market. Time is not your friend. So you have to get a little more aggressive, and you have to be willing to sell a little lower than what you thought you might have. And that's the fun part of it. So we'll see what happens. I never tell my clients to try and time the market, oh, let's wait till it comes down, or let's wait till it goes up. The bottom line is you need to move, or you want to move because of your lifestyle. And it's, in general, real estate's a long-term investment. It's a great investment. It really performs well, has a lot of advantages. But I think it's important to know what kind of market you're in. And if the market is shifting, be aware of it. If you're the buyer now, you can be a little more patient. And if you're the seller, you have to change your expectations a bit. So hope this helps. I will give an update in a few months. And as always, if you have any questions on real estate or need to buy or sell, shoot me a message, call or text anytime. And thank you for viewing.